learner, and welcome to this study guide which is going to help you to prepare for your GCSE media. In this video we're looking specifically at this Louis Armstrong CD cover behind me, and it's going to help you to prepare for this question in your coursework. How has the presentation of black musicians changed over time? What we're learning is to analyse the way in which Louis Armstrong is portrayed in this album cover. And we're going to focus on four things. We're going to look at the use of pictures, at the use of fonts, at the use of colours, and at the use of language. All of those are things that you would need to write about in this coursework essay, which you're going to be writing very soon. Okay, let's start then by thinking about what are the positives and negatives in this portrayal of Louis Armstrong. You could argue that it's a positive portrayal of a black musician because it shows him to be intelligent and respectable. However, you could also argue that it's a negative portrayal because it shows him to be obedient or an Uncle Tom. And remember, an Uncle Tom was a black person who acted the way they did to appease white people. Okay, let's look first of all then at the use of this picture, the picture of Louis Armstrong himself. We could argue that he's dressed in a suit, and therefore this shows black people, black musicians, in a positive way. It shows them to be respectable, successful, or intelligent. However, you could also argue that because this image has a blue filter on it, his skin is not black anymore, and this therefore might make the picture more appealing to a white audience at the time, because they would be less likely to buy music from a black musician, and therefore by putting the blue filter on, they've made him more appealing to that white audience, which is obviously a negative portrayal of a black person. Okay, moving on then to the use of fonts. Now, fonts can be quite a difficult thing to describe, but if we have a look at this one, it's very rounded. It's very soft and gentle, and we also have the irregular use of capital letters. Look, Armstrong should have a capital A, but it doesn't. It has a lowercase a. You could argue that this makes the artist seem friendly and approachable. However, you could also argue that it makes him seem slightly funny and ridiculous. It's kind of designed to be non-threatening for a white audience. Think about the difference between this font here and the one that's used in the 50-cent album cover, which you've also got to write about for your coursework. It's very different, so we can think about why. Okay, moving on from fonts, we can start to think about the colours used here, and we've already started to talk about this. Again, we've got this blue filter over the whole thing with the matching blue on the background of the text. You could argue that the blue emphasises the jazz or the blues element of this album. You could argue that it's kind of emphasising that style of music. However, as we've already said, the blue combined with this white reflection on his skin could make the artist seem less black, which is obviously a far more negative portrayal. Why would you want to make a black person look anything other than black? Well, it's to appease the white audience. Finally, let's look at the language. It's quite a difficult album cover to write about in terms of language because there really aren't very many words, but have a look here, down in the bottom left hand corner, we've got jazz legends. So the word legend could imply that he is successful and appreciated by society, but at the same time it could suggest, or it could raise the question of, would society appreciate him as anything other than a jazz musician? Are black people being typecast or stereotyped as simply black jazz musicians? Okay, lots of things to think about there. Remember, we were learning how Louis Armstrong was portrayed in this album cover. Your task now is to complete the sheet, analysing the pictures, the fonts, the colours, and the language of this album cover, and you can use this video to help you. Then, I'd like you to have a go at answering the following question using point evidence explanation. Does the album cover create a positive or a negative impression of the artist? And that's where your opinion really comes in. Good luck.